Hey guys, I'm Barry with Hammock. So we are super excited to start on the addition on the back of the house. Permitting is all taken care of. The solarium that we're going to be adding to the outside of the addition part is on order. That'll be here soon. First thing, obviously, I need to do, it seems like invariably it's always just starting on the project that's always the hardest part. Once I can just get going on it, I can cruise right along pretty well. But just starting, doing all the layout, all that kind of stuff, it always takes me a while. So we were going back and forth about what to use for the foundation. We were thinking about using ICFs, which is an insulated concrete form. That's not going to work out, unfortunately. It's fine. So I'm going to use blender socks, cinder blocks on the foundation part. So that changes the size of the footer. Here's the old foundation that I'm going to be tying the new footers into. I put these footers in about 6 years ago or so when I redid the entire back of this house because it didn't have a foundation. If you want to see what I had to do to this whole back of the house, here's a video, check it out. One of the other issues with this property is it's all on rocks. So that is a big rock. I've pulled out a bunch already with the machine, but that one's not moving. So I'm gonna have to get my jackhammer. But before I can use the jackhammer, I have to fix the jackhammer. I ended up having to cut off about that much of the cord and rewire it. And then a couple of weeks went by. Seems like that happens a lot. Molly and I are celebrating our 20th wedding anniversary. So a friend of ours at our church gifted us a week at a resort, which was amazing because there's no way we could have afforded that. So we took the whole family and it was really good. We had a really good family bonding time and stuff. And the last couple of weeks have been hotter than my wife outside and dumping rain. So part of the footers that I had already dug are all full of water because I haven't dug the drainage trenches yet. So the next step with this is going to be to getting all of the water out of the trenches so that I can do the forms. Woo! Best time of year. And yes, I sort of had to rig up some downspouts to keep most of the water out of that trench. Looks a little goofy, but it helped. So this is fun. I've got a buddy who's never operated a machine before, a backhoe, on the backhoe, digging the holes. He's actually doing surprisingly well. So at this point, So at this point, I have got the holes dug for the footers. Ran into a few little pebbles that I had to bust up with the jackhammer. So I did a bunch of simple math, longhand, to get the hypotenuse and whatnot. I don't have one of those fancy app thingies that gives me all the answers. I got to figure it out myself. So now I can lay down the footers and make sure that everything is completely square. Because this is going to be a prefabricated solarium, I have to make sure it's actually exactly square. I'm going to be very, very careful. That's why I did a lot of math to figure out exactly what it's got to be and make it correct. I had all the boards in place for the footings. Everything was good to go, and discovered that the dirt in the middle of the area was too high. I'm going to do an 8-inch slab because this is a greenhouse. I want it to act as a thermal battery and hold that heat in the wintertime. And it was too tall, all the dirt. So I had to cut it all back down, which meant taking out all the boards, cutting on it, moving all that dirt. And now I get to put all the boards back. So the very last step with all this is the rebar. I got to get that in before the inspection, which is scheduled for tomorrow morning. So we're just getting the last few pieces in, and hopefully everything will be fine. This is the most complicated area, so I got my son helping. Perfect. We're also pinning the new rebar into the old foundation. So got out the old Bulldog 1/2-inch bit, and we're pounding pins into the old structure. That way it sort of connects them together better. I'm actually just using my conduit bender to bend this stuff. It's actually working pretty well. Well, that was pretty good timing. Great big storm moving in. Next video we'll be pouring the concrete and starting to lay the block. Stay tuned, and thanks for watching. Man, I got that done just in time. Goodness.